if all of your needs are being met, then you're not going to seem needy to anybody because you've got what you need. Number one, like you alluded to, you have to know what your needs are.
Yeah.
You have to
Step one.
You have to be willing to communicate those needs to the people in your life. And you need to be willing to walk away from the people that are either unable or unwilling to meet those needs for you.
Right. Yeah. You have to be okay with the consequences.
There's a lot of really hard things involved with not being needy. Not looking needy for the short term is real easy. You just lie about everything you're feeling. Welcome to the Mindfully Masculine podcast. This is Charles. Today, Dan and I are taking a closer look at Stephen Bartlett's conversation with Dr. Julie Smith on the Diary of a CEO. We'll talk about what it really means to manage anxiety, build confidence, and find motivation that lasts. Plus the difference between looking not needy and actually having your needs met. We'll also explore why self-compassion works better than self-esteem, how rejection can expose the beliefs that still need healing, and what it means to live in alignment with your values so that real growth becomes possible. You can find all of our audio and video episodes along with anything new we're creating and sharing at mindfullymasculine.com. Thanks and enjoy.
Good morning, Charles.
Good morning, Dan. How are you?
I am doing well.
Yeah.
And yourself?
Not bad, thanks. I've been real busy lately. It's been, work has been a little crazy. Microsoft, we may have talked about this in the podcast. Microsoft ended support of Windows 10 and is now giving their users that still have Windows 10 some nice pop-ups telling them that they're not supported anymore. And that has prompted my clients to pick up the phone and say, I guess we need to do this now.
Go Microsoft.
Like, yeah, I guess we do. Like, acting as if I hadn't been telling them about this for a good long time.
Sure.
But like, okay, yeah, I guess we do. So that's been keeping me busy, getting everybody.
That's good.
10 to 11. Yeah, busy's good.
Busy means money.
Yeah, beats being out of work or not having anything to do.
Mm-hmm.
I've been baking quite a bit.
Yeah, a lot of sourdough.
I took some time off of sourdough. I made 2 variations of some almond flavored breads.
Okay.
I made an amaretto bread made with eggnog and was it Di Serono liqueur?
Yeah.
Made one of those, and then I made an almond poppy seed egg bread.
Okay.
And
interesting.
Yeah,
how'd they come out?
The almond poppy seed egg bread is a little too eggy for me.
Yeah.
So
could you make a French toast out of that if you wanted to?
Well, I bet that would be good.
You know what I'm saying? Because the egg would work.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So you're not wasting it.
Yeah. I'm going to give, I made both of them with plans I'm seeing Renata this afternoon. She's in town. So I'm going to meet her around 5 for coffee before you and I go to dinner tonight. And I'll give her, I'm going to give her half of each of those loaves.
Oh, nice.
Because I told her I'm making 2 almond loaves. Which one do you want? She's like, I want half of each. It's like, okay, we can do that.
Okay.
And then, I told some of the guys last night at my men's group, or 2 nights ago at my men's group, that I've been doing a lot of baking. So I said, who here likes homemade sourdough? So I got some names. So I'll be able to bake some, share with those guys.
No. This might be another source of income.
No, definitely not. I do not want to. It won't be fun.
Multiple bread makers going in the RV.
If I was doing it for money, it wouldn't be fun anymore.
Yeah.
But we're doing another Topgolf thing on Sunday if you're around.
Sunday I will not be, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'll be right at the one down the block. Yeah. So I got the sourdough starters doing well. He's staying hydrated, staying happy, staying fed.
Important.
Yeah, like a second pet.
Yeah.
Otherwise, life's good. It's my favorite time of the year, but I haven't really been, other than my morning walks around Winter Garden, I haven't been doing too much to enjoy it. Today was 62 degrees when I went for my walk. It's almost hoodie weather.
Yeah.
If it starts with a 5, I'm wearing the hoodie out.
Okay.
But so real soon it'll be cool enough. But yeah, I woke up early this morning between 5 and 6.
Don't know if the window's open yet.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I like that.
Fresh air in there.
Once
that's
it's
cold.
Yeah, once it starts. Yeah, if it's going to be in the 60s all night.
I mean, I woke up and it was like 60 this morning. So
that's a great, yeah. Why run the AC when I could just open the window? Yeah, as long as I'll have to check the humidity.
Yeah.
I don't like it when it's cold and damp. No,
yeah,
it's got to be cold and dry.
Yeah.
Crisp. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's getting there. It's definitely getting a little drier here.
I'm glad you said that. That didn't occur to me. That's the best.
So funny. My friend was in town from California the other day, and I was like, "Oh, this is the best, like Southern California weather." He goes, "What are you talking about? It's humid as hell." And I was like, Yeah, I guess compared to the summers, right now it feels super dry, but I guess we have no idea how humid it actually is, right?
I was
I
out
was like,
there
this is great.
out there a couple months ago. It shocked me that during the day it felt about the same out there, except not as humid. But at night, it actually got cold at night or cooler. It got into the 60s at night, where at the time we were still, 73, 74 at night, and they were in the mid 60s. And that made me a little jealous. But yeah, we're about there now, so I can start leaving I got that window right next to my bed. I can just pop that open at night. I'm sure the cat will love it too, because he'll get to smell all the
smells.
the nighttime
Smell all the smells. Yeah.
smells. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's gonna be great.
Nice.
Thanks for suggesting.
Yeah, let me know how it goes.
All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of hey, if you like Dr. Julie Smith, as we both do, we've got a whole series on Dr. Julie Smith's book. Why has nobody told me this before? She did an episode of Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett. The episode's just okay.
Yeah.
She's amazing. Her book's amazing. Her social media is amazing. The series we did on her book is pretty good. Better than this interview, I would say.
Yeah. And whoever's running the social media for Stephen Bartlett, naming his videos is absolutely amazing, but very inaccurate.
What was the name of this one?
How to Stop Overthinking.
Yeah, they didn't really get into that, did they?
Not at all. Really.
Yeah.
I think they touched on, I mean, her book definitely helps you. I think the one thing that they mentioned, which is, we've talked about before, is get out of your head and into your body a little bit if you're overthinking.
Absolutely.
Stuff, right. So to deal with the anxiety, don't try to think yourself out of it. Just do something physical,
Yeah, I like that she mentioned, I mean, he brought up the question of how do you talk yourself out of anxiety, and she
that's like
appropriately said, like, that's an advanced level tool. Like that's not something most of us could do.
I'd be surprised if anybody can do that without first doing something physical. They talked a little bit about breath work too, and just like bringing your nervous system down first before even talking yourself out of it. I mean, unless you're the Buddha or Gandhi or so, I don't know how, that seems really tough.
Yeah, I would say so too. Yeah. When you're having that anxiety response that you feel in your body, just using the front part of your brain to talk the back part of your brain out of anything.
Because I feel like the front part of your brain is probably going crazy all as it is right now too, right? During that, it's not just I feel like both sides are really going crazy,
The back part is what's holding the steering wheel at that point.
Yeah.
So trying to wrestle it away.
Good point.
Trying to have the front of your brain, the more advanced, evolved part, tell the lizard part, hey, calm down, everything's fine.
The younger childlike part that hasn't been evolved very long.
Yeah.
Trying to tell the adult in the room what's up. Yeah.
Yeah. It's harder to pull that off. But one thing they spent a fair amount of time on her background and on her life, which is interesting, but not as interesting to me as her professional expertise. But like I told you before we start recording, like, I don't know what I would be like if I was interviewing Dr. Julie. She's brilliant. She's famous. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be stuck on, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite dinosaur?
Just get her on the phone. That way, you don't have to look at her.
She's still brilliant and famous though. So even that.
Fair.
But yeah, looking at her, I mean, she's a very pretty woman, very attractive.
I thought you did have a good question though, which is always something that's come to my mind, is a lot of these really high performing, successful people, these people have had some sort of traumatic experience in their life that has really, I feel, that has driven them to either overcompensate or fix what they think is wrong about themselves. And Dr. Julie said, nope, nothing. She didn't have any.
I love that about her too, where she's just like, no, I was, freshman in college, or maybe it might have been later high school. She's like, I took a psychology course. I thought it was interesting. I wanted to learn more. So I just did.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my gosh.
But see, I like that too, because it gives me hope, because I don't feel like I had anything like really traumatic happen to me. And I feel like I need some trauma or something in my life to get me motivated at times to do stuff. And to hear her,
How old were you when you were diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic?
Yeah, it's funny because I don't look at that. Yeah, I was 7.5. So
I mean, I know that's not, my stepdad put cigarettes out on me, but it's still a big deal.
That jabbed me with insulin needles. No, I guess it is. And I guess maybe I'm just not, maybe I've after so many years of just living with it, it just, I don't know, maybe it just doesn't come across as a sharp,
Yeah.
horrible memory for me that I'm, I guess maybe from hearing or watching too many TV shows or movies or whatever, the people who have like real trauma
Right.
are like, like gripping the, and are really struggling. And I don't feel like I've ever really struggled, but maybe it's maybe not like maybe it's been just like a slow progression of struggle and not like a real sharp, acute struggle. And maybe that's why it's so,
Yeah. And I think we have
I'm minimizing it, I guess, in my own
I
mind.
think we have a tendency to do that where it's like, that difficult thing to happen to that person. Wow, that's heavy. I don't know if I could do that. Where
Mm-hmm.
the difficult thing that happened to you, no, that's just life,
Yeah. Yeah. A little bit.
Renata and I were talking during my therapy session on Wednesday a little bit about Michael J. Fox and his Parkinson's and how difficult it must be to live with that. And I was like, I'm sure that it is, but when you've been living with it for such a long time and it gets progressively, like if I woke up tomorrow with his version of Parkinson's he has right now, I would probably be looking at doctor assisted suicide as soon as possible. But if you have 25 or 30 years to get there,
I can see that.
Very well could be waking up thanking the Lord for every day that he's given. Where if it happened to you just like boom overnight, all of a sudden you have all these symptoms at the same level that he's dealing with right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that I would have the strength to deal with it. I would, probably seriously be thinking about, okay, how do I cut this short?
Yeah.
Instead of,
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Right.
but yeah, the thing that you've sort of
Grown into,
gotten used to, then it's right to look at it in those terms of, oh my, yeah, where if you woke up tomorrow feeling that way, you'd be like, I can't possibly survive this.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because I know people who like, and you're one of them, hates tracking food. Like my sister's one of them.
Yeah.
Like just like will refuse, like won't do it or whatever. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm like,
Right.
this is just what you do. Like
Right.
that's
Right.
like I've had to do it for my entire life. Like, what do you mean? Well, what's so hard about it? And but you're right. Yeah, if it's
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to people about my walking habit that just can't.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
For just about this whole week, even the days that I've had to wake up early to go to St. Pete, I've gotten up and done between 3 and 6 miles.
Just getting up
every day.
Getting up at that hour, as people would be like, what do you?
Yeah.
Clock doesn't have a 5 on it. Like what are you talking about? 5 a.m.
Yeah, but yeah, once you integrate something into your identity of, no, I'm just the guy that does fill in the blank, then I watched a video about habit formation on YouTube and how this guy was saying there is no way to talk yourself or shame yourself or pressure yourself into being the person that makes yourself and enjoys doing things you don't like doing. Like, no, you just, nobody becomes a person who makes a habit of doing something they don't want to do. Like there are people that can convince themselves that doing things that most people don't want to do are the thing that they want to do. And once they do that, then they can do that thing over and over again. But I mean, even, guys like David Goggins who are out there doing ultra marathons, it's like they have figured out a way to tap into something that is in it for them to do the thing that most people don't want to do.
Right. It's always got to be something that you're in it for.
Yeah. There's got to be some underlying reason that doing this thing is worth more than not doing it.
Exactly. And it's just figuring out what that is.
Right. And what levers and systems can you pull on and tweak to make it so that it feels like this thing that most people would not want to do on a recurring basis is more valuable for you to do it than to not do it. Yeah. If you isolate on a thing that you think you should do, but you cannot talk yourself into seeing the value of, you're just never going to do it.
Where I think that can be a little dangerous is then you going through the paces and realizing it's not worth it for me to do. And now you're kind of, you could be left going, well, what is there worth doing at this point? Right. And how can I find something that's going to benefit me that I want to do? And that's where you could really just go, well, I thought I wanted to do this thing, right? Like we're talking about like the 75 hard challenge or whatever, right? Like, oh, I thought I really wanted to do this thing. And then you really dig down and go, it's not worth it for me to do all these things. Like now that I got a taste of all the things I need to do, like it's not worth it to me. And then that can kind of spin you off into the wrong direction at that point. Well, now it's not worth me doing any of those 75 hard tasks. It's not worth for me working out. And you kind of lump all that together. And that can be a little discouraging too. Because a lot of us too, it's like go big or go home, and like that's the way we're wired, right? So, all right, I'm going home, and I'm coming home to an empty house. Don't know what else to do, right? Like,
it's it can be tough. I mean, I didn't have that problem. I was able to say, I'm going to let go of this. I don't need to be this disciplined at these specific things for 75 days.
Yeah.
Because
so question for you, let me ask you. So then, and forgive me, I don't remember. Did you still do any of the things?
I did the diet adherence for past the 75 days.
Okay.
And I had ended up giving up all sugar for, I think I went 120 days without sugar.
Okay.
And
good.
And certainly the no alcohol, that's
right. Well, you're already kind of doing that. You weren't doing that before you even started 75.
Oh yeah, I was. Yeah.
Right. No, I'm saying you weren't drinking before.
Oh yeah, I'd given up alcohol.
It's not like you started 75 hard and gave up alcohol.
No, correct. Yeah. No, I'd given up the alcohol January 1, 2022. So I'm about to hit 4 years, I guess. No.
It'll be 4 years.
I guess it will.
Yeah. All right.
6.
Well,
yeah, that'll be, and so that was easy. Reading something every day is easy. It's just, as we've talked about the water thing is what killed me.
I would love, I got to do a survey of just find out how many people have lost, because, I've been talking to some people and none of them are like, I'm most concerned about the water. Like that's never been like, it's the alcohol, it's sticking to the diet, it's sticking to the workouts. You're the only unique unicorn who I heard is like, I just can't do the water.
I'm telling you, man, it is crazy. I mean, at the time I was doing, I think my ex and I went to the movies once or twice during the 75 hard challenge, and it was just so ridiculous how many times I had to.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've got a unique anatomical feature with my bladder or what, but when I'm drinking a lot, I am just nonstop having to go to the bathroom. And part of it is the feeling of, I need to go to the bathroom, but I mean, pee specifically. I need to pee, but I'm not going to pee right now. I'm going to pee later. Nah, I just don't do that. Yeah. But as soon as I feel like I have to, I stop.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll get it for sure.
Where I've dated multiple girls where they could just hold their pee in for like hours at a time. And like, nope, I'm not up with it.
I can't.
Nope. If I have to go, I'm going. As soon as I feel like I might have to go, I'm going.
Okay. Yeah. I'll hold off a little bit, but it builds up quick. So it's like, I can't, not very long.
I try to go immediately. So why did Dr. Julie get into her huge social media presence and all that? I like that she said, she basically felt like there are some tools that you can, in the past before social media, you could only get those tools in a therapist's office. So it doesn't seem fair. Like you should only learn how to address your anxiety if you're willing to spend $100, $150 an hour to talk to a professional. And good for her. She's right. That isn't fair. Now, there are some things, I'm of the opinion, there are some things that you accomplish in a therapist's room that you really can't accomplish anywhere else. But for the things that you could, like why not share that with people? Why not make it easier? And yeah, if you're not following Dr. Julie on, I follow her on Instagram. I know she's big on TikTok. She's got a YouTube channel. Her stuff, the illustrations and the metaphors that she comes up with to illustrate psychological concepts are so good.
Yeah. I mean, the tools that she uses, or the props she's using to demonstrate it really hits home. It really makes things in the concept sink in really well. And it's entertaining to watch.
Yeah. I can't think of many social media accounts I follow that I would say are more valuable to my everyday life than hers. I mean, it is It's great stuff. And I wonder if she comes up with all that on her own, or if she has I mean, she's so big now and she probably makes so much money that hiring a team is probably something that she does or could do.
But I mean, it's a nice creative outlet too.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think if she was the one doing it, I don't know if I was in that position, I'd still want to be doing that. Like that seems like the fun aspect of the content creation, right?
Yes, and she also does mention, however, that she does talk about motivation and habits and stuff a little bit in this episode, where she says, as I got a bigger and bigger following, producing more and more content became less of a feeling of motivation, like I feel like doing this, to people are counting on me to see the next thing. They talk about in this episode how we are built to care what other people think of us. And when people start talking about how they don't care what other people think of them, my mind immediately goes to, the only reason you're even saying this right now is because you care about what other people think.
Right.
You were trying to sell me so hard on the
I just keep it real.
Yeah, I don't care what other people think of me. Like, the fact that you're even telling me this right now is telling me how much you do care about what other people think of you.
And that means you're a normal human being.
Yes. I mean, look, we grew up, or evolved as a species with this. We have to care what the tribe thinks about us, because our survival is tied to other people's opinions.
I mean, I know why we say it. It's because people get obsessed with what other people, and it lets their thoughts running away in their mind about assumptions and what people who really don't matter, what they say, they're letting them care about it a lot more than they should, right? And you're spending way too much time bogged down. They even talked about it. You get 1 million positive comments on one of your videos, and you're like constantly like looking
over the one,
and you might be even like, you might ignore all of them looking for the one critique, right? But again, we're wired that way. And it's just really, all right, how much time are we going to spend, and how much value and energy are we going to put into that one comment from that one person who might be just having a bad day and is looking to troll somebody, right? Like not even.
No, exactly. And, the question is, where's that line between sort of social awareness of what is it that I come across to other people, and what can I do to, put the best parts of myself forward, versus what are the real things and the authentic things about myself that I feel like I want to delete or get rid of so that people will like me more. And, one of those things is good, trying to figure out how do other people see me, and what are the positive and negative impacts that the way people see me are having on my life and my values and my goals, versus what are the parts of myself I need to hide so that I can get what I want out of other people, like praise all the time, for example. I've struggled with that in the past of, this sort of masculine ideal of I have to always appear to be completely calm and easygoing and fine with whatever comes along, and nothing's going to rattle me, nothing's going to bother me. And my efforts to come across that way, in some cases, have shifted the burden of the things that actually do bother me onto the people around me. It's like, I need to always look like nothing's bothering me. So I am going to put off the things that actually do. I'm going to make them your problem, because I don't want it to look like it's my problem. Whether that is, planning for the future, or things, unmet needs in my relationships, whatever it is, I'm going to prioritize looking like nothing's bothering me, or secretly everything's bothering me. And the harder I work to look unbothered, the more miserable I am to be around.
Yep. But it makes sense too. And also that goes back to the nice guy syndrome.
Yes, it's 100%.
Right. It's like, I'm afraid to express my needs. That probably comes from, and I not wanting to seem needy, because at some point when we were younger, somebody or somehow we felt like we were being too needy to somebody. And so now we're like super sensitive to I don't want to be needy, as being a diabetic, it's like, I don't want to, don't make an exception for me. Like there are exceptions made for me. And it's just like, I had some people nothing really bad happened, but people would just ask questions like, oh, why can't you have that piece of chocolate, kind of thing. Right. And it's just like, wasn't, but like that just kind of stuck with me. Well, don't worry about me. I won't ever eat chocolate, and I won't even put myself in that situation where saying I would like a piece of chocolate, kind of thing. Right. So, but to that extent, I think it's finding that balance of how to express your needs and figuring out, I guess, what really are needs and what are like nice to haves, right? So it's just like, oh, it would be nice to have a different situation here. And maybe if I express that, it might be too needy, but other things like, yeah, I need to go to the bathroom right now, or I need to not hear this music right now, or whatever that is,
Right.
like, that's okay.
Yeah. And I find for men especially, I mean, I'm sure for women as well, but in my own life, in romantic relationships, it's like if you've got a need that's not being met and you prioritize looking not needy over actually I mean, the only way to be not needy is to have your needs met, right?
That's good. Well, let's let that sink in for a second.
If all of your needs are being met, then you're not going to see needy to anybody because you've got what you need. Number one, like you alluded to, you have to know what your needs are.
Yeah. Well,
You have to
step one.
You have to be willing to communicate those needs to the people in your life. And you need to be willing to walk away from the people that are either unable or unwilling to meet those needs for you.
Right. Yeah. You have to be okay with the
There's
consequences.
a lot of really hard things involved with not being needy. Not looking needy for the short term is real easy. You just lie about everything you're feeling. You can seem not needy for a very short amount of time. Right. But to actually be not needy, you're walking around in a state of abundance because you know exactly what it is that you need and you're communicating that to the people that care about you. And when you find, well, I'm stuck in a situation with someone who's unwilling or unable to meet my needs, I got to leave.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is the difficult path to a content, meaningful, happy life.
All right. Simple enough.
Simple but not easy, right? I mean, having all of your needs met in your relationships is easy in the same way that being wealthy is easy. But it's simple, not easy. Sorry, it's simple, not easy. Yeah. And that's which leads us into the next point that they talk about, rejection, and how rejection very directly taps into our core beliefs, which is any little thing that happened to us as a kid that gave us the message of either you're not normal or you're not good enough or you're just not enough for this particular circumstance. We can always be on the lookout for evidence to prove that case to us, even decades later. And, they talk a little bit about self-esteem versus self-compassion and how, your self-esteem can be very contingent upon what you're experiencing in the moment and how well prepared you feel like you are to deal with it. And they got into affirmations a little bit too toward the end of the podcast, which, I am a huge fan of believable affirmations and a huge enemy of pie in the sky abstract affirmations.
Yeah, she said it in a way that I hadn't heard before as to why that is, why so many of us, why it's dangerous to basically give ourselves these affirmations, which we really don't believe. It's because part of our brain will, if we say, all right, I'm rich and I've got everything, I'm wealthy. And if you're not, or you feel like you're not, our brain will come in right behind it. Like our subconscious right behind it will give us arguments as to why that's bullshit.
Right. And you'll fixate on those effectively generated arguments.
And you feel bad about yourself because you now have been basically lying to yourself and you're just like, I'm an imposter, right? Kind of thing. So it's just like, and that's why I agree. When I first heard affirmations, it rang hollow for me so many times.
Yeah.
Until I heard one guy, basically, Andy Dooley, back in the day, told me, basically, I went to a class and he's like, no, the way you got to say these is I'm starting to believe this, or I'm working on my fitness to become a fitness person. That's the actual truth. And this goes back to, I think also with the self-esteem pieces, it's got to be grounded in reality. Just like I think any type of therapy that you're doing for yourself or even somebody else it can't be just all pie in the sky, self-worth, self-affirmation.
Definitely.
Right. It's got to be some piece needs to be grounded in reality. I think she was talking about one of her kids or something in school. You've got a problem, in school, and where if you're too self-compassionate, you might run away from, you might not go to school. You might say, all right, I'm going to avoid that situation. Was that what it was? What you talking about?
I don't think she framed it as too self-compassion. I think she framed it as if you're too, I'm trying to remember, I know the part you're talking about where I felt like it was self-compassion that allows you to say, what is the best thing I can do for myself
Right.
in the long term and for my future.
Yes, correct.
I think it might have been the self-esteem
Yep,
meaning.
I got it
Like,
backwards.
yeah, going to school and not doing well is bad for my self-esteem, so I'll just let my kid take the day off.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying.
Where self-compassion
Exactly.
is,
Yeah.
okay, well, what's the best thing for you in the long term? It's go to school. Let's figure out why you're not doing well right now.
Right. Yeah. Whereas if you have too much, they said that's right. Back in the day, years ago, they were really trying to work on kids' self-esteem.
Yes.
And just building up self-esteem. You're great, you can do anything type of thing. And if you focus too much on that, you might end up then avoiding reality and actually doing what's healthiest for you, which is where the self-compassion comes in. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that was a big mistake of the self-esteem movement of, I want to say probably the 80s, where the idea that you could talk someone into high self-esteem is like, no, you can talk somebody into unhealthy narcissism, but you can't really talk somebody into self-esteem. The self-esteem comes from inside.
And I think from real world experiences, not just from somebody saying.
No, self-esteem is,
right.
I did something, I decided I wanted to do something. It was hard and I did it anyway. And now I feel good about myself.
Right.
I think that's really the only source of it. Anything else of, having somebody outside of your body talk you up or outside of your mind say, you're smart, you're valuable, is like, okay, well, that can turn you into a raging narcissist, but I don't think it can turn you into somebody with a healthy view of yourself.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, it's too bad. I mean, it'd be nice if it was easy. If I just hear enough nice things from people, if I hear enough compliments from people, then I'll be able to finally feel good about myself.
If we just sat there and lived in a world where we didn't actually have to go out and do things, then maybe that would work. But when reality hits you in the face when you're actually trying to do something, just not having that experience, that hands-on experience, and now we've got all these other senses that we're dealing with from being in the real world and not just thinking about we have good self-esteem. I think there's that deeper level where that that needs to come from, and not just like you said, getting prompted up and cheerleaded.
It's like I look at things in my life that I've accomplished or that I've enjoyed struggling through in terms of, okay, what's cheap dopamine versus what's expensive dopamine. And the expensive dopamine is worth so much, but you don't feel it in the moment. It's like the level 1, level 2 fun I think we've talked about before, where level 1 fun is a roller coaster and level 2 fun is, a difficult hike. And one of them is fun in the moment and you never think about it again. And one of them is miserable in the moment and you look back on it for years thinking how great it was.
Yeah. In me, my body sensations are different too. So in the moment, it's a little bit like a little upper, I feel a little bit more in my upper chest, a little bit more like a instant type of release. But then if I'm thinking like a long-term accomplishment, it's like a warm, satisfying feeling. It's like eating, hot wings versus a chili or something like that. Like a soup that kind of fills you up in the wintertime, So can you tell me I'm hungry?
Speaking of cool weather, it's almost stew season. I'm gonna be breaking out the Instant Pot and making some beef burgundy and some chili, and it's gonna be the time of year for that kind of stuff. God, I love the autumn and the winter so much. I wish I had more travel scheduled for this time of year, but soon enough. She did talk about the effect that her fame has had on her, which I thought was kind of interesting. In that there are some things about her life that it has made more difficult, and but she also had the sort of the sense or the honesty to say, yeah, but try to talk the 10-year-old version of you out of being famous. You can't do it, but it is. And I have heard rich famous people say before, famous people, they don't stop having problems, they just have different kinds of problems.
Yeah.
And I 100% believe that. And there are certain, there are ways I would not want to be famous. Same with, people that are rich. Rich people have different problems. Your problems don't go away. Some of them do, but there's also another set. Like some of the things you're used to worrying about, those will go away, and then you'll have new things to worry about.
And I think also sometimes the problems that you have when you've got money versus when you don't have money are maybe more enjoyable or less unenjoyable, but there's still problems. It doesn't solve everything, but I feel like it might be a little bit more enjoyable to deal with some of those problems.
Yeah. And I think, a lot of it has to do with internally what's going on with you, and, how is it that you respond to difficulty? How do you respond to frustration? How do you respond to uncertainty? And yeah, a lot of those things, the skills that it took you to generate a bunch of money may not be the skills, and often are not the skills that it takes for you to confront and deal with the sources of your anxiety. So you can be an anxious, worried person with a lot of money in the bank, or you can be an anxious and worried person with no money in the bank. And yeah, it is. I did also appreciate how much she emphasized that she's willing to work as hard as she needs to work to do it, to accomplish what she wants to accomplish in her career, up until the point that it impacts how good of a mom she can be. You know, I hear women frequently talk about this idea of, do I want to focus on a family? Do I want to focus on my career? And can I focus on both? And God, I have a hard time focusing on the kind of professional / business owner I want to be, and the kind of physically healthy man I want to be. Just trying to balance those two is difficult for me. I can't imagine trying to balance, this is the kind of lawyer I want to be, and this is the kind of mother I want to be. Like, God, that sounds, I don't know how anybody accomplishes it. So I feel like that's not a problem I have to figure out an answer to. But, you know, when I hear about a woman talking about being a mom and being at the absolute highest level of her profession, just like, man, I can't be at this mid-level of my profession and this mid-level of body health. So I can't imagine how somebody like her in her position tries to manage.
That's the thing, is I would think, and this is where it benefits to have a little bit more money, because then you can outsource some of the things that not necessarily that mom without money would have to do on her own, you know?
Yeah.
Grocery shopping. Like,
doing the laundry.
Doing laundry, right?
Vacuuming the floors.
Right, exactly, right? And that's now, like, you know,
that's not to say that her husband doesn't play a role in these things. I'm sure he does, and he should.
Sure.
But yes, there are a lot of tasks where I could say, okay, if I was trying to run a household that included children, and I had some money to outsource some of the, you know, just daily upkeep of the house, I would certainly do that.
Yeah. You know, so that's the thing, is I think money allows you to be a little more creative, and you might be able to then, you know, and also, you know, she could hire people to do things for her career, like, you know, just do some background research and other things like that, that she, you know,
she's probably not editing her own videos, for example.
Exactly. Right. And so, whereas I feel, you know, you and I are like the mid-level of everything, everything basically, looks, career, podcasting. It's really difficult where, you know, because we don't have the luxury of outsourcing so many things, and, you know, and trying to do it all. So it's, I think it's easier to be Dr. Julie than it is to be us.
But Dr. Julie wasn't always Dr. Julie. That's the thing.
Right.
You know, when she was,
I'm not taking anything away from her.
No, we are right now. She was probably both working harder and smarter than we currently are.
I'm doubting.
And that's
no doubt.
Dr. Julie. I did like that she talked about the difference between goals and values. We alluded to it before when you were trying to
stumbling through that. Yeah.
I really like Joshua Fields Milburn, who's got one of the guys in the Minimalists. He talks about just, he doesn't really do goals at all. He only focuses on values, which I think is interesting, where he says, instead of saying, okay, by this date, I want to accomplish this thing. He's like, no, I just want to live every day as being the kind of man that I want to be.
Yep.
And if I do that, if I figure out systems and plans to just wake up and be the man I want to be every day, I don't have to set goals.
Yeah.
It's like, man, that's a lot of pressure to take off yourself. And well, it is and it isn't, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of,
so I guess that's interesting. Like I'm working with like a Tony Robbins coach now. One of Tony's principles in terms of tackling goals and to-do lists and stuff like that is actually to start with values. And because that is what drives you, you know, as a human being, as your life, these are the values that you want. And then so then what, it doesn't eliminate all the tasks that you necessarily do, but it allows you to kind of group them together and go. So like in the morning, for example, when in the morning or driving, when we want to like get yourself ready for the day, you don't really think about getting dressed, brushing your teeth, showering, washing your face, flossing, you know, putting your shoes on.
I want to show up and I want to be presentable. Right. And then all those little subtasks are just naturally part of it.
Exactly. And you're not like really focusing on those, because as long as most of those get done, you are checking off that value of, I want to be presentable. Right. And same thing with driving a car. You've kind of chunked all of those little parts together of if you're driving, with the stick, and then, your mirrors and your steering wheel and reversing, you don't think about all those individual things. And so now you're spending less and less energy on those individual tasks. That's really where he's focusing on. But then, he also does say, he does talk about goals and projects that align with those values. So, but basically the things that need to be done for those projects and goals, you're constantly reminding yourself of how that plays into you being the kind of man that you want to be, or the kind of brother or son or whatever that you want to be, type of, or I want to be a healthy, I want to have a healthy body. I want to, be a really big community, someone who gives to my community a lot. And those kind of values and identities, and you kind of wrap those individual projects into those areas. So I'm curious about this guy, like how he is handling, because I mean, if he's somewhat successful, he must be doing some level of goal or project work or whatever. And how does he, you know what I'm saying? I wonder how he handles that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
because he must be getting stuff done.
Yeah, and I'm sure there is a way of organizing your task list, but yeah, I think the types of goals that we like, I can think of an example where, like, right now a goal of mine is to renew some of my technical certifications, where going through and cramming the way that I am now would not be a factor if I just said, okay, part of who I am as a person is I crack open these Microsoft Press books and I spend 45 minutes a night every night just keeping up on the latest technology, where I don't do that. It's like I focus on the technology during the day to do my job. And then at the end of the day, I mean, it's funny though, because when I started in technology in the late 90s, like, yeah, I would get people's old computers that they didn't want anymore or whatever, and I would build a lab in my apartment or in my house, and I would work all day on technology, then come home and play in my lab. And I'm not that into it anymore as I was, 25 years ago.
Do you think that's because when you were playing with it in your lab, that the excitement of being an amazing engineer was driving you, or because of a potential of making a nice jump in terms of salary and more money?
I think
if you passed like the MCSE exams and stuff like that,
that was part of it.
That's what it was for you.
It was both of those things. I mean, I do enjoy it, and I enjoy, we were talking before we turned the mics on about, building a new lab environment, which fortunately it doesn't require finding a bunch of towers that my friends don't need anymore. You could do it much more compactly now than you could then, and networking together and all that. But the idea of building a new lab environment to try stuff out, and when I was in the email archiving business, I would generate these scripts that I would let run overnight, and like I'd wake up the next morning, it would have generated like 10,000 emails in my environment that I could then archive and search and index and all that kind of stuff. And coming up with ways to do that is still exciting to me.
Yeah,
I still enjoy it. But the other thing is, I just have other things in my life that I enjoy more.
Yeah.
Walking down to downtown Winter Garden to hang out with my friend Tracy, who's a bartender on the weekends down at the one place, or go down the West Orange Trail, or go to a trivia night, or go into one of the museums around that I like. I mean, I have a richer social life than I did back then. And so going out and doing some of those things,
now what you'd be missing writing these scripts.
Yeah, there are things that compete with putting my head in a book and playing with some fake computers in a virtual environment.
Yeah,
that those things still have value, but just not.
Yeah,
it competes with a lot. I mean, thankfully, I don't have a lot of things that, but I really want to get high, or I really want to get drunk, or I really want to spend all weekend playing this new video game. Those aren't the things that appeal to me. I find that the things that do appeal to me are a little more healthier and a little more moving me toward where I want to go. But Yeah, it still is. Yeah, spending all your time in your job and then coming home and doing a fake version of your job to get better at the technology that will make you better at your job. It's a level of hunger that I think people in their 20s have that, it's it doesn't come as easily for me now as it did then. And that's okay. I'm okay with every couple years I just have to bear down and get through sort of cramming through it,
Yeah.
and then go back to the normal schedule.
You've
That is
got
that is
different interests
consistent,
now,
is
yeah.
consistent with my values to do it the way that I'm doing it. Anyway, I do want to say when it comes to values, a site that you and I have used before, personalvalu.es. So it's basically the word personal values, but with a period between the U and the E. They've got a great little core values assessment where you can go and figure out what it is that really matters the most to you, where it basically is an A/B test. What matters more, this or this, this or this? And you go through and select that, and then it'll give you a list of what your core values are. And what I've not done is taken it recently and then piped it over into Chat GPT to say, okay, these are my core values. These are the things I spend all day doing. Where might I adjust my daily schedule or my daily activity to align more to my values to feel like I've got a richer, more meaningful life? Because that was one of the things that she said, a reason that people do show up in a therapist's office is to just say, hey, I'm doing all these things that my family and my society tells me I'm supposed to do, but I just don't feel good about it. She said, well, it could be that you're not living in alignment with your core values. So I think there are some free tools out there that can help you figure out what your core values are and which one of these might you be ignoring or not feeding on a daily basis. And, what are you willing to do about that to make things feel better than they are right now? She does get into the go big or go home thing where there's a section of the interview where it's big change doesn't equal quick change. It does in some cases. I mean, we all have heard stories of people that have had, that kind of road to Damascus moment where just in an instant, the way they thought about something changed, that flash insight, but you can't count on that. That all the people I know that has happened to where just something happened and they just stopped drinking or, changed the way they saw relationships or whatever it was. That huge big change. I put down my cigarettes and I never smoked again. Nobody ever architected that to happen. It was something that happened to them almost from outside of themselves.
And unfortunately, that makes for entertaining stories. So we seem to see those types of situations from media and movies, TV shows, and I think we then start to expect that's how it needs to happen, and it usually doesn't.
Yeah, I would say the biggest version of that has happened to me is giving up cream or sweetener in my coffee and giving up alcohol. And for me, both of those were not that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was, a casual user of cream and sugar, and I was a very casual user of alcohol.
So not an alcoholic, not a creamaholic.
I was able to just decide I'm not going to have these anymore, and then I just didn't. But again, that is not the same as somebody who has a real dependency on either of those things, on either coffee mate creamer or on alcohol. For the people that, have a dependency on it, to just be able to just decide, oh, I'm just not going to do this anymore. It's very rare. It does happen. I've seen it happen, but it's rare.
I mean, there's a reason why there's so many rehab facilities out there, is because
correct.
People need all kinds of assistance and support, and they go back and back.
There's a reason why it takes like the average person who does get off of drugs or alcohol, it takes them like 5 times of going to rehab before it's sick. And the other thing is, when it comes to something like alcohol or any kind of a drug, it's like there's a reason that you're leaning on that thing. You have a reason to lean on that. It's not just because it tastes really good or it feels really good. It's like, no, you're compensating for something, and you can just do away with the medication, but that doesn't necessarily mean the illness goes away. And I would say it always means that it doesn't just go away. So just snapping your fingers, going from I'm an alcoholic to I never drink, that will certainly have some health benefits for you physically, but mentally there was a reason that you were, killing those 12 beers a night. There was something that you were treating with that medicine. And if you stop the 12 beers, it doesn't necessarily, some of your problems will go away, but not all of your problems. So yeah, keep in mind that the big, huge, instantaneous change that appeals to us because of media and because of good stories, it doesn't often last, and it doesn't often make things better.
No, it just makes for an amazing story that, you want to cheer for that comeback, the hero, somebody overcoming such a difficult challenge.
Yeah. Stephen talked a little bit about dealing with burnout, and that is, I can't think of a time where I've had to deal with burnout. That's not really something that affects me because, I mean, I just don't have a high tolerance for sticking to the high pressure, unpleasant parts of life without taking some kind of a break, whether that's a weekend away or just, deciding, okay, today's going to be an easy day. I've had enough hard days. But that does seem to be, and I guess that could be a function of my privilege due to some of my demographics, whether that is my level of education, my gender, my skin color, whatever. I've been able to curate a life where if I feel super high pressure, I'm able to just take a step back and say, hey, I need a break. I'm taking a break. Where I know not everybody gets to do that. Is it something, I mean, you've been an entrepreneur for a long time as well. Do you feel yourself getting burnt out?
No,
Do you sort of have
in the way
doubts built in?
Yeah, not in the way that some people describe how severe it can be. It's never. Yeah, I have safety valves as well. And the other thing too is my body. I'll get sick, right? Like if I'm not getting enough sleep from pulling too many all-nighters, whether it's good or bad things, fun things. But yeah, my brain I've never been so obsessed with something where I have spent way too much time and energy in a short period of time to the point of where I have mentally or physically just said, oh, I'm burned out. I can't point to anything like that. Fortunately, most of my career, I've spent a lot of time being able to work from home and remotely. And part of it too is also, even when I was going on site to client engagements, there's a lot of time traveling by myself. And I feel like that, where I'm not talking to anybody, even if I'm on a plane full of people or I'm in a, hotel full of people, whatever, I'm not engaging people constantly. I feel like those types of things, even if it was like an intense client engagement for like 5 days in a row, it wasn't a problem because I'd have that downtime by myself to decharge.
Yeah, I would say, I think that, thinking couple things that you said really made some alarm bells go off, not in a bad way, but in my own head, in my own experience. Number one, I think that time I was probably happiest in my career was when I was frequently traveling on engagements for your company. When we were partnered, I was spending lots, I think in 2008, I spent over 40 weeks on the road traveling around and doing those. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I was married at the time and I missed my wife, but, and I missed my house, but just the showing up at a place, everybody like looking at you, like everybody's excited because they're getting this new software that's not already broken that needs fixing. It's like brand new. So everybody's excited about it. Everybody looks at you like the expert and treats you like the expert. And I mean,
You are the expert.
Yeah. So that felt good too. And, every time there would be something that was just a little bit different that I hadn't encountered before that I had to figure my way around.
That kept things novel.
Yeah.
And exciting.
Yeah. That was probably my favorite time in my career.
Yeah.
And I definitely never felt burnout, even when I was having to, spend a lot of weeks away from home. The other thing I did think of, though, was I always think of burnout in terms of career stuff. When somebody tells me that they're struggling with burnout, I always immediately go to this idea of, oh, your job's really stressful, your job's really demanding.
Yeah, me too.
I think I've probably experienced some relationship burnout where
I could see that.
Where things in the relationship, either because of unstated unmet needs or feeling like I don't have the ability to meet this person's needs and that's frustrating me and I don't know what to do about it. I would say I have definitely experienced that kind of burnout before, where it's like, okay, everything's fine at work, but I spend time with this person, I love this person, but things just are not okay. And I feel like well, I just have to work more. I have to put more work. I have to put more effort in. And, it's just, when you're in the wrong relationship, it's a black hole. You can shovel as much effort and work into it as you want to.
Yeah. And if there's no results coming out, I feel, that's a recipe for burnout.
Yeah. And so I think I have experienced that before, but I've not experienced professional burnout. So yeah, I might have to do some research into that, because I've not heard other people talk about burnout in those terms.
I haven't either, but it makes total sense to me. It's just, you keep putting fuel in and no results are coming out. I mean, that's kind of what burnout is literally what it means, right? It's just like you're burning off all the input all the energy you're putting into it, and you're not getting anything out of it, or not nearly what you're putting into it anyway.
Correct. She does touch on something that I think we may have mentioned last week or the week before, that confidence can't grow if we refuse to be without it.
Yeah.
And one of the things Brene Brown says in the book that I'm almost done with it, I'm still working on it, though, Strong Ground, is that everybody wants to be brave, but nobody wants to be vulnerable. And that's kind of, everybody wants to be proficient, but nobody wants to live like an amateur. And you can't have one without the other. You can't ever get good at something without surviving through the part where you look stupid when you try to do it.
Yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow.
It really is. Yeah.
The good coaches that I've seen or worked with have gotten me to do things that I'm uncomfortable with by prefacing with, do it horribly. Just do it. So he'll ask you to do something, whether it's, you're creating some sort of product or some sort of, you're trying to describe your avatar or whatever that is as part of a business process. And he's like, not only is it not going to be perfect, it's going to suck. So do it horribly right now, but do it. And so make sure it's terrible. He's like, make sure it's terrible, but get it done in 30 seconds. Right. And he's like, just get something on paper so we can go, yeah, you're not even doing it. You're just like hearing about it. You're grimacing. Well, but it does release the, the perfectionist. But he also says, we're going to hone it later. And so just that mindset shift of do it horribly, we'll hone it later. For me, at least, it kind of allowed me to get out of that paralysis from analysis and perfection.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Glover's book, where he talks about, these little coaching workshops that he would run for guys about trying to teach them how to, ask women out, make connections, start relationships, things like that. And, he would start with, go out and get rejected 5 times.
Right.
The goal is not to get her number. The goal is not to get a date. The goal is to get her to say no to you. No, I'm not doing that. I'll settle for one no. Me saying no to my coach. How's that?
Reject you right now.
Yeah. It's like, I'm going to teach you something, coach. No, I'm not doing that. How's that feel? He's like, feels fine. I cash the check anyway. But yeah, the idea of doing something like that where you set out to fail, that is.
Well, he also, in this concept, it's the failure is not doing it. The success is just getting it done.
Vince, right. I understand that that's the goal that you can put on paper is to say, no, failure is not taking action, and any action you take is a victory. Nope. My brain doesn't believe you. My brain says victory is victory and failure is failure.
Yeah. So the next question is, how do you get okay with failing? Knowing that it's a failure, right?
That's a good question.
How do you get okay with that? Knowing that what comes after that is learning and being able to then and not fail as badly next time.
That's something we talked about again from Brene Brown's new book, where she says, the idea of having an organization where you reward people taking good risks, you don't reward what the outcome is. So you teach somebody to take a good risk, and then you reward them for taking the good risk.
I'm curious to hear what that looks like in the real world. Like, how do you guess I need to
or hire her to her Daring Greatly leadership.
You think I got Dr. Julie money?
Yeah. I don't even know Dr. Julie could afford her. I mean, she does stuff for, government agencies and Fortune 5 corporations. So I don't know even Dr. Julie could pay that bill. But yeah, that is, I think you could probably pick up on it from her book. But yeah, the idea, because even trying to implement that in your own relationships with your partner, your kids, like, okay, everybody, the plan is we're going to become the family that tries new things, and we're going to become the family that praises each other for trying something new. As long as, your intentions were right and you calculated the risk correctly, then I don't care if it works out or it doesn't work out. You're getting the gold star.
Yeah. I mean, and I can't remember her name, Blake something or other, who invented Spanx.
Oh yeah, I forget what
Sarah Blakely. Thank you. Yes. Billionaire.
Yeah.
And she said she grew up in a household where she'd sit around the dinner table and the dad would be like, "What did you fail at today?"
I remember hearing that.
That registered with me. I was just like, holy cow, way back when you had a dad that insightful and in touch with, like,
I think she's younger than us, isn't she?
A little bit,
but yeah,
still, I mean, that's, that means that the dad must have heard it.
Yes, true.
Years ago or whatever, and thought that was a good idea. So yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I did not have a dad that said, "What did you got today at the dinner table?" I wish I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is.
And it said it in a way where it was encouraged and not like,
of course, no.
We just grew up today. Yeah.
That is a better conversation. Just a blanket. How'd your day go? How was school? Like, what did you try today and fail at? And let's talk about why. Let's talk about the hows. Let's talk about that's a lot of curiosity.
I was encouraged to do things I didn't want to do, but it wasn't framed to me in any way of what the benefit of doing those things. I was just like, and then it just became, I just dig my heels in and be like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be on the swim team. Like, it's,
Yeah. I always wondered about that with, how, as a parent, how do you encourage your kids to do stuff like athletics when, it's hard. Yeah, it's unpleasant. How do you, because I've got this impulse where I don't want people telling me what to do when I don't, like when I do something, I don't want somebody telling me to do it. So how as a dad would I tell a kid, hey, this thing that you used to want to do that you don't want to do anymore, well, you have to just keep doing it.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you figure out where that line is? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I would not want to raise a kid who leaves my household with the message of, even after you decide you don't want to do something anymore, you have to keep doing it just because you did it yesterday. You have to do it tomorrow too.
I guess it depends on how adamant they are that they don't want to do it. It's kind of like, oh, I don't feel like going today. That's different than, I hate this. I'm, I think there's levels.
It could be so dramatic.
Right. And that's where you got to know your kid, and know when it's bullshit and when it's legit. Right.
That's tough.
Yeah. Who said being a parent is easy, right? I mean,
certainly not mine.
No,
they didn't say it with their actions or their words.
Oh my God.
Okay. So last thing I want to close with is that Dr. Julie, like Esther Perel, says basically the quality of your life is going to be determined by the quality of your relationships. And she also kind of tied it into, it's not just, you'll have a happy life if your relationships are happy. It was your well-being and your resilience will be dependent upon the people that you establish strong relationships with. Yeah. If the people closest to you are constantly putting both your mind and body in a state of crisis and in a state of anxiety, then that is going to bleed into every part of your life. And so what do you do about that? Well, you get healthy so that you can be drawn to healthy people and healthy people will be drawn to you. And if you're already in a relationship with someone who's not that healthy, which you probably are, I mean, because it's a myth, in my opinion, it's a myth that you've got one partner who's super healthy mentally and another partner who's really unhealthy mentally. It's like, no, you may have different kinds of mental health struggles, but I'm sorry, super healthy people do not find themselves in relationships with super unhealthy people. The 3s find the 3s, the 6s find the 6s, the 10s find the 10s. And again, the way that your mental health or illness could express itself may be dramatically different from the person that you're in a relationship with. But the overall level of health, it's going to be pretty much the same.
Yeah. That's fair.
So if you want to be in a house with a healthier person, you have to get healthier. And that will either inspire the person with you to get healthier or inspire them to get out of your life so you can replace them with a healthier person.
Yeah, good way to think about it is if you're not sure if you're unhealthy, if you think your partner is unhealthy, then it means you're unhealthy. So go find some help, right?
Yeah.
And it's so hard to realize, I was blinded to that, with my previous relationships too. And looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, what was wrong with me? Looking back, it's easy to see now, but when you're in it, it's like, oh, it's all them. It's them.
Correct.
It's them.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
them.
fine. They have the problem.
Yeah. So, Yeah, to fix somebody else, fix yourself first.
Yeah. And
Really?
if you take fixing yourself seriously, then the other person will either start fixing themselves
Yeah.
or they'll find their way out of your life.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, really the only dating advice, relationship advice, marriage advice, family advice is work on yourself, because it's the only thing that's completely under your control. And it's the only thing that could have a positive impact on the people around you. Because if you say, I'm going to ignore my problems to help my partner get healthy.
Yeah.
No, it
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
It never works.
Got to build that self-awareness.
All right. Thanks very much, Dan. We'll be back with Dr. Julie's great. Her material's great. We found this episode to be a little underwhelming, but not because of her. And really, I don't blame Stephen either. It just her material wasn't a great vibe for his format, I would say.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but her material is great, and we'll include links to it in the show notes. All right, we'll stop there. Thanks, Dan.
Have a good one.
You too. That wraps up this episode of the Mindfully Masculine podcast. We hope this conversation gave you some new insight into what it really means to understand your needs, communicate them honestly, and approach growth with self-compassion instead of self-criticism. If you know someone who might connect with or benefit from this episode, share it with them. It's one of the best ways to support the show and keep these conversations growing. Thank you for listening to the entire episode. We appreciate it, and for being part of this community. See you next time.
Absolutely.
So